Boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, heretics, scum, loyal and loyalists alike, Xenos, and all of you wonderful humans out there, ladies and gentlemen, we have some new information regarding the Henry Cavill led and run Warhammer 40K series and movies, the whole universe that they're supposed to be starting out there over on Amazon. Now, boys and girls, I will start this whole thing off by saying, please take this with a grain of salt. This comes from a source that I haven't really relied on in the past before, and I don't know how accurate their track record is. But if a website like that Park Place, one that I know and trust and does have a good track record, is reporting it on this, we're going to go ahead and take them at face value and go ahead and look into this. Because, boys and girls, I am one of those, I will gladly admit, I am new to the Warhammer 40K universe. If you want to call me a tourist, if you want to call me a noob, if you want to call me a fake fan, whatever, I'm totally okay with that. Please leave those comments all down in the things. But I promise you, I have spent plenty of money and time on plastic crack. Now, obviously, this isn't painted yet. I'm one of those that I'm terrified about painting. I really don't feel that I have very much artistic talent in my body whatsoever. So I'm terrified of painting something that I spent all of this money on just to screw it up. But eventually I will get there, boys and girls. But yes, I've been diving deep into the lore. I've got all the new stuff for 10th edition. I want to start playing. I want to start learning all this kind of stuff. But this is one of the things. I am probably like one of the many ones out there because I had heard about Warhammer 40K and I thought it was beautiful. I thought it was amazing. I loved the idea, the concept of the world and everything else. In the grim, dark future, there was only war. You know, the whole concept of it. I loved it. But the problem was, just like many other fans, I heard nothing about how big and how daunting this universe was and how hard it was going to get into and how expensive the hobby was and yada, yada, yada. But boys and girls, I'm a guy who loves good stories, who loves good storytelling. And I love movies and I love television. That's why one of the reasons why I do this as a job, right? And it's one of them situations where I got excited. And when you heard, because I will absolutely admit, I'm a Henry Cavill simp. I love Henry Cavill. Why do I love Henry Cavill? Because Henry Cavill loves the fans. He is a nerd. He is one of us. He is a guy who understands fandoms. He understands how we work. He operates and he respects us. No matter how many times the media has tried to get him to bash on fans or the nerd community or the geek community and any fandom whatsoever, he always has been out there to defend us and deflect their nonsense and literally just respect us. And that is something that I think is something that is so lacking in the modern era right now. And I think we can all appreciate that. So I will gladly simp for Henry Cavill. I have no problem telling you that whatsoever. So when I heard that a guy who is a nerd, who is a fan, who is one of us that respects the lore and understands the thing, and then I heard that he was such a big Warhammer 40K fan, his custodies being his army, rest in peace. It's one of them situations where I was like, yes, this could be awesome. This is great. This is a universe I'm willing to dive into. This is one I'm willing to invest in. Because if Henry Cavill's in charge, then I know he's going to stick to the lore and I know things are going to be good. Well, boys and girls, if you weren't aware, there's been some tumulations. There's been some issues going on inside of the Warhammer 40K world, inside of Games Workshop. Some of the new announcements that have been coming out, some issues with the custodies. A lot of people are very upset about these kind of things. We've done videos over this extensively in the past. You guys can find my opinion in those videos on all of that. But that's not what we're here to talk about today, boys and girls, because that's not what we're here to talk about. Because a show and a series and a movie and a universe I was super excited to see headed by Henry Cavill. Well, boys and girls, according to the rumor mill, and like I said, take this with a grain of salt, there's a very good possibility that it might not be coming to fruition, and that is something I would be very sad to say, especially if Henry Cavill. But if Henry Cavill is not getting the way to do, if Henry Cavill is not getting to do it the way he wants to do it, I would much rather it not happen than us end up with something like Netflix's Witcher. And we've all seen how that's panned out, especially according to the original source material. We know Henry's now left. I would much rather see Henry leave this project and not have anything happen with it than him not be able to have total control and be able to do a good job of this. So with everything that's going on out there in the world, this might have sparked some of this rumors. This might have sparked some of this inside. This might be sparking changes behind the Amazon world. But as I said in the beginning, boys and girls, this is rumor mill. Take it with a grain of salt. But we're going to check it out. We're going to get into all the juicy details and see exactly what is going on. So we've got this article over here from that Park Place we're going to get into. But before we do, if you do enjoy our content, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, and or share if you have not already, because we're inching our way closer and closer to 700 over there on YouTube and almost 800 over on Rumble. So please, if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe or follow if you have not already, and let us know what you think about the source of this rumor in the comment section down below, if we should believe it or not, and whether or not you think this might be true, or do you think this is all nonsense and we'll get to carry on seeing Henry Cavill going forward. ThatParkPlace.com. Rumor: Henry Cavill's Warhammer 40K show at Amazon might be shelved. Oh, no, boys and girls. A new rumor claims that Amazon MGM Studios and Games Workshop Warhammer 40K live-action projects from Henry Cavill might be shelved. Oh, look at all our beautiful blue Smurfs. We love ourselves some Ultramarines, and that art looked great. Oh, I love the art. I love the art. This new rumor comes from YouTuber Arch of the Archcast channel. Now, like I said, I don't know much about Arch other than what I've heard about him out there on the internet. So if you guys know that Arch has got a good, reliable track record with leaks and rumors and all of that kind of stuff, let me know. If he's somebody we should trust for this kind of stuff, let me know, and we'll definitely pay attention to what he says. But just let me know, boys and girls, because you guys, like I said, I am just your humble, common nerd. I am no expert on any of this kind of stuff. There are many of you out there who know far more, and probably all of you know way more about this stuff than I do. So please, educate me, boys and girls. Your humble common nerd would appreciate it. He explains, right now the agreement in principle between Games Workshop and Amazon appears to be in effect. This means that a team at Amazon, a team of writers, is right now trying to write out a story that is going to be turned into the Warhammer 40K television show. They have, I believe, a few more months on the deadline for this project, and they have to hand it in. And then it either has to be greenlit or they have to have their writing date further postponed in the hope that they can produce something better further down the line, or the entire project will be shelved. Those are the three opportunities. Either they'll have a project they'll go ahead with, they'll shelve the whole thing, or they will extend the deadline to try and get a decent product going. In other words, nothing is finalized yet. Absolutely nothing. There isn't even any money for the project allocated as far as my insiders can tell on Amazon's behalf. Now, this is one of the things. That's what I was thinking about this because I'm reading through this and I'm thinking about this and I'm thinking about it in my head as I'm reading this to you guys. And it's one of them situations where I'm like, well, this sounds like a lot of speculation. This sounds like you're trying to be really broad. So how accurate could this actually be? But he is saying that he does have insiders on Amazon. And now, you know what? Until someone proves me wrong on this, I'll take him at face value. You know what I mean? Like, I'll trust you until you prove me a reason not to. You know what I mean? So it's one of those things. If he does have insiders at Amazon, that all could very well be a possibility. I mean, we do know that this is all still early in the development days. Henry Cavill has flat out said that all of this is still very much early in the Games Workshop has said that. So we know this is all probably pretty accurate. There's no reason to doubt what it says. It all lines up with the timeline. There's nothing here that would make you think, well, this doesn't make any sense at all. So no writing staff has been truly hired. No money has been truly allocated. No plans have been truly made. And maybe that's the case. We have no idea. I mean, it is very early on with this kind of thing. So is that the case? Could it be shelved? Obviously, this is still early on in the development. It honestly sounds like this is very much painting with broad strokes behind all of this kind of stuff. So Games Workshop shared in a blog post in the middle of December 23 that the company had come to terms with the Prime Video and Amazon MGM Studios to have an adaptation of Warhammer 40K brought to both the big and small screens. The company shared back in December last year, we announced Games Workshop and Amazon Studios had signed an agreement in principle to work together to bring Warhammer 40,000 Universe to screens big and small. Well, today we have an update, and it's one we've all been longing to hear. We've now signed the full agreement, and the next stage can begin. All we can tell you right now is that an elite band of screenwriters, each with their own particular passion for Warhammer, is being assembled to help bring the setting and characters you love to the screen. The illustrious group will be championed by Henry Cavill, who stands ready to take his place as an executive producer, bringing his pen, sword, and/or spear to the project. As for when the first project might arrive, Games Workshop detailed TV and film production is a mammoth undertaking. It's not unusual for projects to take 2 or 3 years from the point something arrives on screen. Still, things are now properly rolling, and you can bet we'll bring you all the latest updates and cool snippets as we're able to. So this is all stuff we know about. Obviously, we've gone over the Henry Cavill stuff several times in the past. For 30 years, I've dreamt of seeing a Warhammer universe in action. And after 22 years of experience in this industry, I finally feel that I have the skill set and experience to guide a Warhammer cinematic universe into life. Partnering with Natalie Vicosi at Vertigo, we have been blessed beyond words. Without her, we might have not found the perfect home at Amazon. Having a home like Amazon will give us the freedom to be true to the massive scope of Warhammer. To all of you Warhammer fans out there, I promise to respect this IP that we love. I promise to bring you something familiar, and I endeavor to bring you something fantastic that is as of yet first seen. Our first steps are to find our filmmaker, creator, and writer. Watch this space, my friends. And now, honestly, that's been pretty much radio silence since. We haven't heard much from Henry Cavill. We haven't seen any kind of stuff. There hasn't been any reports of any of that kind of stuff. And that's where we stayed at for so long. And that's one of the situations where this right here, this statement that he put out is one of the reasons why I got excited. I have spent more hours than I can possibly tell you listening to audio books for Warhammer 40K, reading the books, and listening to every lore video that I could get a hold of from either Luton09 or from, yes, of course, our dear, sweet, major kill, which I know a lot of people have their issues with him, but either way, Luton's great, right? Luton's great at the end of the day, and they're very good and very useful information. But these have caused me to go in and buy the models. It's caused me to watch the tournaments, try to learn the game, read the books, and understand more and more about this universe. And that's what an adaptation is supposed to do. It's supposed to make you excited about the things and want to dig deeper and farther into the actual source material that is out there. And that's what I've been doing. And that's what got me so excited about this, which is why I worry so much about everything that's been going on. So since then, he's provided brief updates on the project, greatest privilege of my life, yada, 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 all of that other kind of stuff. So this is what we've got right here. So basically what we've got here is broad strokes from Archcast, from Arch here, right? That's what we've got here. This is very generalized. This is very broad. I don't think there's a whole lot of specific stuff in here. He says basically they're still in the early times of this. They haven't really moved forward with too much at all. They've still got writers that are working on things on this. And even then, this comes as speculation. I don't think this is as big of a major drop that a lot of people are trying to say, or even what the headline right here is saying. Now, obviously, they tagged this off with rumor, and you're probably going to see a lot of videos out there covering this and talking about all this kind of stuff. But boys and girls, I honestly don't think this tells us a whole lot. It basically tells you that everything's still in progress and it could go any which way. It doesn't tell us that there's rumors or talk about inside of canceling things or shelving anything. It's literally saying that, hey, this is all still in the early development process. And guess what? This is how Hollywood works. Right? You've got a team of writers working together something right now, and they're going to send it up to the executives, and the executives are either going to green light it or tell them to go back to the writing board. That's how Hollywood works. So shout out to Arch for talking about this and for saying that his insiders basically told us how the process is normally working and it's currently going along the way it normally does inside of Hollywood for a television show or a series. So I guess thanks for that. But, I mean, at least it's good to know that he's got insiders, and they're saying that the money hasn't even been allocated for anything yet. So it sounds like it's still in early development days. And considering everything that's been going on inside the Warhammer 40K universe, and no matter how you sit on any of the controversies out there, no matter what side you sit on, there's been a lot of controversy. And controversy in the modern era is not like what it used to be. It used to be, oh, yeah, everybody look into things. Well, nowadays, because of all of the controversies we've had with so many of our IPs, so many of our fandoms, so many of our beloved franchises out there over the years, that once people start hearing about this, they just automatically assume the worst and tune out. The old saying of all publicity is good publicity is not true anymore. Bud Light, anyone? But I mean, seriously, it's one of them situations where this is what happens. So there's a lot of controversy going on. Maybe that's why Amazon's holding wings on things. Maybe that's why they haven't allocated any money for it. I have no idea. But at the end of the day, this is how the process works. We're currently waiting. We have no idea what's going on, but there's a lot of speculation. There's a lot of fans out there that are very upset by things. And whether or not that has actually something to do with anything that goes on inside of Amazon, or if this is just normal course, I have no idea. I'm not claiming to be some predictor of gods. I'm not a predictor of the future. I'm not claiming to be some guy with insider information. I'm just looking at things at a 40,000 view, reporting them to you, and letting you know. So boys and girls, let me know what you think about this. Do you think Arch might be right, that they're still so early on in the production this whole thing could be canceled at any time? Or do you think this is just part of the normal process and it's going to go forward with things like that? Do you think Arch is a reliable source? Do you think he's somebody that we can trust and we should pay attention to for the future rumors and leaks about this show and about this series? Let me know what you think about all that in the comment section down below. Boys and girls, we have said it once, we have said it again. Amazon, listen to your fans and listen to Henry Cavill. Let him do what he wants. You make the fans happy and we will make you rich. Piss us off and we'll watch your entire series and your IP go bankrupt.